Yeah, you can bring.
Yeah, really, that's who we want to see.
I want to see you. Yeah.
Epic Experience was founded after my oldest son, Michael, was diagnosed with testicular cancer in 2007. I wanted to offer up hope to other cancer survivors so people know they're not alone, so that they know they can get out and start living again. It just may look different than how it did before they had cancer.
Epic Experience is unique in the fact that we really pride ourselves on trying to take anyone and everyone that we can. Doesn't matter when you were diagnosed. If you've been diagnosed 5 years out, 10 years out, 20 years out, we don't put a timeline on it. We say that, you know what, if you've had cancer come into your life, we have a place for you.
Epic Experience. One word, it's epic.
Yeah!
You have a chance to come up here and do some things that you've never probably done before.
This camp has taught me, like, why are you afraid? Like, what's stopping you? I got out on the water in the pond here, and I'm like, I haven't done a headstand in a long time. And it's really difficult to do it on water. And I'm like, what am I afraid of?
At camp, it's about healing your soul and your spirit and living beyond that cancer diagnosis, having fun, being with people that understand, and really just embracing everything that life has to offer you.
They just said you were going to go to a camp, and I didn't even know where it was going to be. I got hauled up the mountain and got to play in the snow, and the thing that happened is I rediscovered joy, found myself again. Favorite memories from camp? Running down the hill in snowshoes. It's something I never really considered before.
I got on a sled today, and I'm going to be honest. I mean, I beat cancer, but I was still nervous to get on a sled.
Well, kayaking is individual. You're all alone in your boat, and it's you versus the elements and how strong you are and getting through the challenges that are coming up, whether they're rapids or something in the water in the way. And with cancer, it's you versus your diagnosis.
Epic Experience is about empowering adult cancer survivors and thrivers beyond their cancer diagnosis. It's about giving them a community in which they feel that they have people they can connect with, that understand them, and have walked their shoes to really know, hey, you know what, I'm not alone, and I have people with me, and it's so important for them to feel that connection.
Things that I used to worry about don't worry me as much anymore. Family is critically important. Friends and experiences is what life is about.
Well, I didn't think I needed this week, but I needed it more than I knew. I needed to just play in the snow. I needed to laugh until my sides hurt. I needed to connect with people, even though I didn't think I did. I needed to find out that I'm not alone in things I think I'm alone in.
So here at the 7W Ranch, not only are the activities that we do for the week amazing, but just the beautiful scenery around alone makes it just so incredible.
I was feeling a bit lost and unsure how to cope with life after cancer. I feel like Epic Experience brought me closer to who I used to be and who I want to be in the future.
Want me to cry when I talk about 7W? It's magic. Just say, it's special.
If you are debating on coming on this trip, just do it. Don't hesitate. I hesitated. I waited till the last minute, and I am so grateful that I came here.
This has been life-changing. This week has absolutely changed my life in ways that I couldn't have even imagined that it would.
Epic Experience is the right name for this experience. Trust, go for it.
Why can't you experience this? It's something that they've already been through, cancer treatments, whatever the therapy is, and this is another way to heal.
If you want to really check back in with yourself and find out where your inner person is and where your soul survives, come to a camp and just let it be.
Don't think about it. Don't wonder, should I? Just do it. Sign up for camp, and it will be an amazing experience full of a lifetime of memories.
Hi there.
Hey.
Hi.
We are now live. This is episode 8 of the Epic Experience Beyond Cancer series. And my name is Gail /Sunshine. And I'm going to be interviewing 3 different Epic campers tonight. We're doing something a little different. Usually it's just been one person. Tonight we're going to have 3, the more the merrier. First, I'm just going to say a little bit about Epic Experience and the Beyond Cancer series. Then we're going to introduce our 3 fabulous people, and then we're going to get going. And while we're doing this, if you have questions or comments, feel free to add them, and we will include them and ask our lovely panelists here. So Epic Experience, real quickly, was started in 2012 by Nancy Farrow after her son had cancer and really had a hard time kind of getting his life back on track. And since 2012, we have had close to 500 campers at the week-long programs that are in Colorado, both winter and summer. And the goal, the mission statement of Epic Experience is to empower adult cancer survivors to live beyond cancer. And then in 2019, we started this program as the Beyond Cancer series as part of a bigger push to get as many people involved as we can, because we have this huge waiting list. And not everybody can come to a camp when they're only, 10 or 11 at a time to create that really close experience. So this is one of the things that the alumni team started doing. And the alumni team is like it sounds. It's a group of alumni. I'm on the team, and there's, I believe, eight other of us right now. And we have all had cancer. We've had different kinds of cancer. We're from all over the United States. And our goal is to really keep alumni connected through various ways. This is one of the things we're also trying to do. And the idea of living beyond cancer is we do different, we've had different interviews. We've had a social worker. We've had medical volunteers. We've had Michael Farrow, who was the inspiration. And we've just kind of trying to talk about different topics that are interesting to people who are trying to live beyond cancer. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to 3 Epic alumni who have attended camps at different times, and I'm going to let them tell you that. But we're also going to be talking specifically about how the virus, the pandemic, the social distancing, and being a cancer survivor kind of all mix in everybody's lives. So again, as I said, if you're watching, go ahead and add comments and questions as we go through, and we will get those in there, okay? So I'm going to start. First, I want to say thank you to Lahana for adding on last minute. Thank you. We had another camper who was supposed to and couldn't do it at the last minute. So thank you very much for joining us. So since I just called you out, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, your camp name, when you went to camp, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. My name is Kelly. Camp name is Lahana. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was diagnosed about 5 years ago and went into remission about 6 months after. I went to camp about 4 years ago, so about a year after I was diagnosed. I have volunteered since then and have done a bunch with Epic, and they're part of the reason I moved to Colorado about 10 months ago. They definitely made me fall in love with the beauty of nature, so I traded in the city to move to the mountains. So glad to be here today.
Good, thank you. Kalina, how about you?
My name's Kalina, camp name Gypsy, because I love to travel and just be free and crazy, I guess. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I was diagnosed with stage 3C ovarian cancer about 8 years ago. And I attended Epic in 2014 of the winter, so February 2014. And I've been in remission for 6.5 years. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, great. Thank you so much for joining us. And Stryker.
Hi there. My name is David, also known as Stryker within the Epic community. I am a testicular cancer survivor. I was diagnosed in the summer of 2016, and then attended camp in the winter of 2017, so January 2017, just before my first scan. So it was quite an interesting time for me. Lots of anxiety. Since then, too, I have volunteered. I've been a volunteer to winter camp in 2019, as well as this past winter. And I'm also on the board of directors. So, awesome. And I'm also out here in Massachusetts, so you might see a dark window out here, getting to be close to bedtime.
Great. And in case you haven't tuned in before, my name is Gail Sunshine. I attended camp in 2016. I'm also an ovarian cancer survivor, and I'm also a new Colorado resident, almost a year. So, all right, tonight we have a few questions. I'm going to let each of you respond. Share your heart, however you feel like responding. All right. So what we want to kind of focus on is this idea of how COVID, the coronavirus, and social distancing and all that's gone with it are kind of affecting each person's life. So the first question to throw out is, how has it affected your life in terms of work, life, family, exercise, anything? How has it affected your work life, day-to-day schedule? And you guys can just jump in, whoever wants to go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll go. Honestly, my life has luckily not been disrupted that much. I work in healthcare. I'm an ultrasound tech, and I only work part-time, like PRN. So I just pick up a few shifts here and there. So I still have a job, luckily, and I still am only working like a tiny bit. And I guess I go to the store less. I don't go to Target when I'm bored to just wander around. I don't go visit family or friends as much, but I've been really lucky here in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I lucky. I haven't been lucky here. So a couple things, a lot of things. I'm the CEO of a nonprofit out here that works with at-risk youth. So mental health and trauma are on our minds, and we work with students every week. And so when the kids are out of school, it's tough for our clinical team to be there for them. So one, trying to keep a nonprofit alive and to survive in these difficult times, and trying to support our staff while also making a decision as a team that no matter what, we had to be there for the kids. And so we had to pivot a bit. And so we had to implement telehealth so we can do individual sessions with as many kids as possible. So that's been a whirlwind for the past 4.5 weeks. Personally, I am a parent of 2 teenage girls. So it's a little crazy here. We have 2 dogs as well. And my nephew, who is a freshman in college, who's from Florida, had to move in as well here. So we have 3 teenagers, 2 dogs, and my wife and I are both working, and it's pretty crazy. And we're doing the best we can.
That sounds super hectic, straight.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I work from home alone, so more power to you. Wow, that sounds a little crazy. Lahana, how about you?
So I actually left a position in February, and so I was planning on job searching for a little bit, and then I got an opportunity with my husband actually to go to Hawaii for a couple days. I was like, this is great. And then I was interviewing for jobs, and then COVID happened, right? And so I am still interviewing, but it's been a little bit harder. Like I've had companies that have told me, you are our top person, but we're on hold now. So that's been a little bit unfortunate, but I am lucky my husband's working, and you know, I know a lot of people are in this situation right now. So my husband actually works remote, and he's always worked remote. So for this is like normal for him, as I'm losing my voice. He's just, you know, I'm home all the time now too. I'm trying to like do my thing and do my workouts without bothering him while he's on conference calls, not putting the blender on, you know? So definitely figuring out that. My personal life, you know, it's, I feel like I'm a pretty social person, and it's hard to just stay inside and not be able to just socialize with people, you know? So trying to go, you know, in Colorado, there's some parks that are still open. So trying to go on hikes and use the time that I have to get outside, and just like I can get out sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Now so I guess we've officially been on safer at home for what, 2 months? Feels like longer, but I think it's been around 2 months. What has been the hardest part for you guys? David, I know it sounds like it's been crazy.
Finding toilet paper and paper towels.
That's true. That is true. I think that's been a universal thing. My husband actually took a picture when he found it because he was so excited that he found it at the store. What has been the hardest part? If you could say over the last couple months, what's been maybe something you didn't expect to be hard that has been really hard? Just over the last couple months.
I can just say that it's everything's changing by the hour, right? And so there's so many unknowns. We just don't know, if the kid, well, now we know the kids aren't going back to school, but are the kids going back to school? Can they go outside? Is our family, are they well? How are we going to get food? Can we get food? We can't get on these ordering services. It's just moving so quickly, and there's so much information out there that I think for most of us, just trying to digest all of it so quickly, and then it just changes by the hour. So I think it's just been it's crazy. And look, we've never experienced anything like this, none of us. So you just do the best you can, but it's been rough. It's been, and we have a long way to go, at least out here on the East Coast.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah. What about you two? What has been the hardest part? Again, maybe something you didn't expect to be hard or anything like that.
I'm happy to jump in. So I would say at first, what was really hard when this started happening, for me, anxiety, I felt like kind of took over. And I think, especially with watching the news, with things changing hour by hour and things shutting down, and it just felt so like doomsday-ish, and not knowing like what's going to happen, how is this going to end? Just thinking of like movies of like stuff that happens and like what's going to be real life. And of course, having previously having a cancer diagnosis and like having to rely on medical professionals to help you through things, and like having that kind of anxiety. So that was a big thing, and I figured out some coping mechanisms through that. And now it's kind of me trying to figure out a schedule throughout my day so that I don't just watch TV all day,
Yeah, that's true. Kalina, what about you?
Kind of Lahana kind of touched on it. Like at first it was hard because it was just scary and it was unknown, and my husband's a doctor, and so he was told that at any point he might be called up to go be in the front lines, and he's a physical med and rehab doctor, so he doesn't normally treat like inpatients type of thing. And they were getting emails all the time like, hey, we might need you to step up, and that was way scary at first. And then as it's been pretty slow here in Utah. We've really been lucky. It's very mild. So like now, kind of what Ohana was saying, it's just hard to be so isolated. It's fun to keep in touch with friends. I Marco Polo my friends, so we can still kind of have that like live video type thing. But it gets old, I just want to go like see my parents sometimes or stop by my neighbor's house. And so that's been hard. It's getting lonely.
Yeah, if I can add too, I think I mentioned I have 2 kids and they're teenagers. And so these are such important years of their development, but they're missing out on things that we enjoyed during our high school years, and dances and social outings and just being with their friends. And you don't even know what you can say to them because you just don't know where you don't know, is there light at the end of the tunnel? There is, but when is it? We don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Seniors? Or either
no, thankfully they're not. But it's just, they're teenagers. They like to have fun, and they're growing and they're learning and they're enjoying time. They're these important years. And so just to have it just stop is really tough.
Yeah. Kalina, were you going to add something?
Oh, I just saw on the live comments on the side. I don't know if I'm supposed to be watching those or not.
Oh.
Somebody asked if we were treated different because of our cancer diagnosis. I don't know if people treat me differently, but I definitely have, especially when I was super worried about all of this thing. Is my immune system back to normal? They say it is, but I feel like it's not. And so I definitely have had those thoughts of, I don't know, if I have a compromised immune system or not, even though I'm technically so far out from treatment.
Well, yeah, since you just brought that up, that was another question is how has this affected your follow-up? And I guess also what precautions, are you taking extra precautions because of your history, your cancer history?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all just taking precautions in general, right? But I think for me, so I'm on the annual scan period, and so now I'm gonna go beyond my annual, and I'm obviously in that anxious period of wondering, right? So you want to go, and I'm not, but I don't want to go near a hospital right now. So, so in my mind, it's looking at the calendar and saying, and the doctors are just saying stay away, and so it's like, well, when am I going to be scheduled to go in? I have no idea. But as most of us, most of cancer patients, you want to have that picture taken. You want to know you're good, everything's fine.
Right.
So for me, it's just a waiting period.
Yeah, definitely. Lahana, do you have anything to add?
So I'd say with me, so I'm on an annual follow-up. So mine's, I don't have to have a check until next, I guess September. So hopefully things will be a little bit more stable at that time. But for me, I have not limited, but I have limited compared to before lung capacity because of some of the chemo treatments I had. So when I get a cold in general, I get chest pains, and I've gone have x-rays before because I'm I'm dying, it's bad. And my doctor's like, you're okay, so already with this happening and with lungs and all that kind of stuff makes me extra paranoid. So right away, I when I heard before even the lockdowns happened, our house was shut down. No one could leave. No one could come in. And I wake up every day and sanitize, even though no one has left. And so a towel could not be used twice in our house. A jacket is not it's thrown in the dryer right away for 30 seconds to hopefully kill off any germs. So cleaning is, my house has never been so sanitized,
Yeah, definitely. Well, just in case anyone's just joining us, this is the Epic Experience Beyond Cancer series, episode 8. And tonight we're talking with 3 Epic alumni and cancer survivors about COVID and their experiences and things like that. So if you're just joining us, welcome. Now I wanted to go back. I had asked you what the hardest part was, but because we're all having to deal with it, I've tried to look at the positive. So I'm wondering what unexpected maybe blessings or good things can you say have come out of the last couple months?
So I can go. In the Stryker household, we're always on the move. My kids play club sports. We rarely get, my wife works, we rarely get to have dinner together and just be during the week. So it's been really nice to actually cook dinner together and sit at the table and be a family. That's something that we've missed for many years. And so now we're doing it 7 days a week.
That's great.
It has been, the slowing down has been really nice. I have 2 stepkids, so they're not with us all the time. But when they do come over and we have school at home, it means that I get, 6 extra hours to be with them.
Right.
And help them with schoolwork. And it's been really fun. We don't see them that much, really. And so it's nice to have them that extra time and to just be home and to play around here. We're kind of like you, Stryker, that we're always just on the go, going camping or hiking or doing some type of activity. And now we're just doing things at home. It's really been awesome.
That's cool.
I'd say for me, I connecting with friends and family a lot more, and I think in a lot more meaningful way. And of course, it's been virtually, but because especially since I've moved, I'm still trying to figure out how to connect with some of my friends and family virtually and build and still maintain those relationships. And I think I never really Zoomed or FaceTimed a lot of my friends back home and my family back home. I've done that a lot more. So that's, I know I've been chatting with my friends. I'm like, why don't we do this all the time? Why did it take COVID? So that's actually been a blessing throughout this.
Yeah. But, and you just brought up an interesting point. Why don't we do this? And so that's what I'm wondering. Do you guys, have you thought about, okay, once this is over, or once things relax, and it sounds like it might be longer for you, Stryker, and I'm sorry. Whereas here, things might start easing up a little. But what will be different? Do you guys think there will be something that you'll do differently now as a result of this time?
I do really like how much easier it's been to stay in touch with friends and family, because everyone has had to slow down. So there's more time to like connect with each other. And it's true, like what Lahana is saying, that you connect more meaningful because you, I don't know, I feel like when you go through hard things, you know, whether it's like cancer or in this situation where the whole world is going through something hard, it breaks down the walls better. And so people are just more vulnerable to begin with. And so your relationships can be more meaningful just automatically.
Yeah. Good.
I love the way that you put that. I mean, for me, it's certainly, continuing to maintain kind of this cadence that I have now. One thing I haven't thought through yet, but I definitely will be a little bit more mindful when I fly in like airplanes, and also like going to sporting events and concerts and all that kind of stuff. I'm so excited for them. I can't wait to go to a baseball game and all that, but I don't know what the answer is, but I think we're more mindful when I go to those type of things, and like having someone right here, like jumping crazy at a concert, I don't know if I'll be as comfortable with that stuff anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't, so that's something I'm starting to think about now as I'm eager for those opportunities, but it's different. I'm going to look at those things differently now.
Yeah. And I think this put self-care in perspective for me. Always very busy. I was an athlete, and I was active, but I wasn't as active as I got to be a parent, and things just piled up. But now I think making sure that I'm caring for myself. Things that I'm doing too. I mean, Bugaboo has the yoga going on, so I've been doing that. I ride the Peloton, and then I do the yoga class, and then I do some meditation. So those are important things for us to do to just get through each day.
I agree. Yeah, I think for me, yoga is something I've never done, but I've actually tried it. And that's one of the things that I want to continue even after it's over, because I do see how important it is. So, now we talked a little bit about extra. Somebody just mentioned this, and I don't remember who it was, but in terms of kind of relieving the stress and the anxiety and the tension, have you guys found new things that work? Have you found that old things you rely on still work, and so you're going to those? Do you have any go-to kind of stress relieving things or anxiety mitigating things that you've been doing?
Yes. Who's gonna go?
I'll go for it.
Okay.
I feel bad because like Utah, we've been lucky to enjoy like quite a bit of freedom. I live really close to the mountains, and so I'm a big trail runner and a huge backcountry skier, and we've been lucky that we're still able to do those things.
Wow. Yeah.
So I get to go be in the mountains almost every day, and that is huge for me.
Yeah.
If you took that away, it would definitely make this whole situation like a whole different ball game. But just being out there, and it's not as busy, and just being, I don't know, just alone with nature and something so much bigger than you, it just puts things in perspective and makes you realize like it's gonna be over soon. And we've gone through hard things before. We can do it again. I do love the yoga too. I haven't been able to make very many of them, but it's been fun.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, yeah, staying like or doing workouts. I used to do ones in the gym at a workout studio. So obviously those have been canceled, but still continuing to do that. And then finding different workouts, either I know like Eventbrite will show ones that are free and ones that you can do all around the world, which is really cool. So you can do, Pilates in Hawaii and you can do it in your living room. And so that's been really fun to be able to do different things like that. And then also I've been making tons of food that when I get stressed. So last night I was like, need some like comfort food. And I made Chinese fried rice, which I've never made before, but just like threw a bunch of stuff in. And so, and it made me happy. So just doing different stuff like that has definitely been helpful to just relieve some stress.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, being active is definitely been helpful. But for me, I think music this Sunday. So I went outside and we have a fire pit, and I put the fire pit on and I put a chair out there and I just listened to music for 4 hours. I mean, it just sat there and it was, we hadn't had a 60-degree day in months. And so finally we had a decent day and that's what I did. So I think a lot of music, we have it on in the house, and when I'm working, I may put on some quiet music, and it's just something that's soothing and helps me out.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Looking at some of the comments, it seems like food is a popular activity for the stress relieving and being outdoors too, which I agree. It is something. So since our worlds look a little different, have you changed? Do you have a new favorite activity or a new hobby? Have you picked something up? You've mentioned cooking or different activities, but is there something new that you do either, I don't know, because you have to, or because you realize this is actually a fun thing, and I like doing this, a new activity, a new hobby, something you never thought you'd pick up that all of a sudden you're doing, anything like that?
I don't know if it's a hobby for me, but I never watched Netflix before until this.
Sure, that's a hobby.
So I've gotten into some different series, and I'm looking for other recommendations, and but it's kind of neat. There's a lot of great material, great programs on there. So when I can't sleep and anxiety is high, I just put something on, and it's been kind of cool.
What's your favorite one so far?
I got into The Crown, and there's another one called The Spy that I liked, and then there's some soccer ones that documentaries on some teams and players that I just enjoy watching as well. So, but I'm open for suggestions. I know that I've heard Ozarks is good, so my wife and I are going to eventually watch that together.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Cool. How about you two?
I'll go. It's always awkward on these things. You can't tell who you should make go. Okay. I got in, well, I don't know if it's like totally new, but I wanted to get into watercolor, and I kind of dabbled for the last year or so. So I've been doing a little bit more watercoloring, which is fun.
That's cool.
And we've been doing a ton of yard work. So I don't know if that's like a hobby that I'll continue, but it's been good that I've had time to do that and start gardening and things.
That's neat. What's weather been like in Utah? Has it been pretty nice?
It's been really nice. We've had a really nice spring, like super mild and not very rainy. So, and like Lahana said, the cooking. I've been cooking way too many deliciously baked sweet things.
That's awesome. Lahana, anything?
I have been with friends playing something called Jackbox, and you have to download it. I know they have one of the free games, but it's a virtual games that you can play, and like someone shares their screen through Zoom or whatever, and then you can all play on your phone, and it's super fun. So that is A, one I would suggest, but B, it's just been fun to be able to like play games with people. And you can do it in your living room, and other people can be in their own living rooms, and it's a blast.
I have not heard of that.
Yeah, Jack.
That sounds cool. Well, along the so Mark Farrow is wondering if everyone's keeping up with their Rummy Cube skills. Personally, I have not been. Has anybody introduced their family to Rummy Cube?
I don't think I've played it since camp.
I know.
I've bought it since camp, and I've bought it for other people since camp, like multiple people. So I love Rummy Cube, but I haven't actually broken out since this whole thing. I probably should.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I haven't played since January when I was at the Pharaoh's house having pizza and playing Rummy Cube. But we played quite a bit. Mark will play some other time.
Well, and apparently you were mentioning Ozarks, right? So somebody said that their parents are obsessed with Ozarks, and I've heard that from a number of people. I haven't watched that. So
Yep, we will watch it.
Now, along those lines, another question I was going to ask: has anybody been reading? Have you read any really good books, or not just series, but seen any really good movies that you found relaxing, entertaining, distracting? Any of those things? Distracting in a good way, of course.
You know what I watched? I guess it might be. I don't know if it's weird, but I really enjoyed it. The Two Popes.
The Two Popes.
The Two Popes. Popes. Yes.
I have.
It's on Netflix, but it's a movie. It's not a series. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. But I haven't read a lot. I mean, I read all day, so this is my chance to not
read. Right.
Read.
Right, I'm with you on that one. That's my job, is reading. So at night, I'm usually vegging and watching something completely mindless on Netflix.
Yeah.
How about you two?
You go for it this time.
All right. I mean, I feel like we can't go without saying Tiger King.
Yes. I have not watched it yet.
Sunshine, come on, you have to watch this. So of course I watched that and finished it in the full 6 hours it was immediately. So did that. I also, within the past couple of days, watched Devs. I'm pretty confident that's what it's called, on FX. Super good, kind of complex show, but fun, kind of can get your mind off of things. And then I also watched the series Waco. I think it's on Hulu. And it's interesting. I knew Waco, like that incident was a bad thing, but I didn't know all the context behind it. So it's a show, but it goes through a lot of the context of it. So that was really interesting as well.
Interesting. Kalina.
I haven't been watching a ton. Just, a few episodes here and there, and I haven't been reading any good books. I've been reading, but I wouldn't really recommend anything that I'm reading. I got like 3/4 of the way through a book and didn't finish it, which is pretty rare for me because I love to read and I'll usually suffer through anything. But I did read, if anyone has kids or young girls that are listening, I read them a really awesome series, and we just finished the last book. It's called The Unicorn Quest, and by Camille Benko. It was so good. Even I was like excited to read it to them because I wanted to find out what happened next. So now we're on to Harry Potter, which is classic. Can't go wrong with Harry Potter.
No, you cannot. No, and there I have a recommendation. If you've never listened to the Harry Potter series, the guy who reads them is fabulous.
I have heard that. I definitely need
to
try.
Tip. And Michael Farrow's tip is that he's reading The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Excuse me. By Mark Manson. How do you say asterisks? You can't, so I actually have to say the word. Would you? And he would recommend it to all cancer survivors. So there's another recommendation. But it's fun to talk to people and find out what they're reading, because there are so many books out there that you've never even heard of until somebody mentions it. So, what do you think? Here's another kind of related to the normal life. And thinking about it possibly returning soon. Now, maybe not as soon, Stryker, for you, but how does that make you feel? Like when you think about the fact that the restrictions might be lessening here in Colorado, Kelly, I'm not sure about Utah, but does that make you feel like hopeful or freaked out, or how does that make you feel?
Utah's really been pushing to get things back opened up, and I just read an article today that they're talking about opening the gyms back up in like a week or a week and a half. That
Wow.
is extremely stressful to me. Like,
Huh.
I know it's easy for me to say because I have a job. I'm still getting paid. Like, you know, I'm not getting hit financially from this, that I know a lot of people are, but having them open it back up just gives me serious anxiety because I know,
Yeah.
you know, from watching the news that places like Massachusetts and New York are just, they're hit so hard. I don't want to be like them. So
yeah,
I just,
We're not that bad.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for them to open things back up, but I know it's been a lot harder on other people.
yeah. Wow. How about you, Kelly, since you live here in Colorado where they're thinking about it, how does it make you feel?
So I'll say, you know, I definitely think it's hopeful, right? I feel like I can see like a light at the end of the tunnel, which is great. But then there's another side, like yesterday or the day before, I was like, oh, that's great. Like I can go get my hair cut and I can go do this, right? And so I wanted to start making those appointments. And then this like flag went up that was like, are you sure you want to go do those right away? And so it's kind of, you know, just trying to rethink what steps I want to take. And I think even if things do open, and for here, everything's not going to open, like our gyms aren't going to open right away. But I have been thinking, if my gym opens right away, is that even something I'm comfortable with? And I'm not. So I don't think I would go. So I think I need to figure out what that is for me. So it's hard. It's hard to make those decisions, but it is hopeful to know that those options are out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Stryker, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know. We just don't know. Right. And I drove my nephew to the pharmacy the other day, and we were wearing masks and we had gloves on, and we're just sitting there like, well, is this the way it's going to be like, you know, for months to come? And I think it is. And it you know, and you know, we used to be the ones that said like, oh, why are those people all wearing masks? And now we're all wearing masks. And if you don't wear a mask, you know, something's wrong with you. So, you know, you got to have hope, right? Again, for us here, we're taking it one day at a time. We're being as safe as we can. But yeah, I think, you know, when things do open up, I don't think we're going to rush to go to many places. I mean, we were just thinking about our annual vacation in December.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get on a plane right now. It's going to take us a long time to heal, all of us. And what is that new normal going to be? Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. Kalina, yeah.
I have something to add. I've been thinking a lot, like, we've only been on like a shutdown. I mean, Utah hasn't even been on a lockdown. We've only been on this for 7 or 8 weeks. Like, that's not that long. And maybe that's because, like, I've been through cancer and my treatment was 8 months plus another year of, like, follow-up and, like, a year of every 3 weeks, like, chemotherapy still. So, like, 2 months, we gotta calm down. Like, we can last a little longer. And maybe that's just because I have a different perspective than other people. But yeah, I'm not ready. Like, we can get back to normal, but I think we'll wait it out a little longer.
Yeah, we can deal. Sorry, we can deal. I mean, just like what you just said, my mother was going through multiple myeloma, had a transplant, and so she was basically in isolation for a large portion of a year, and then just starting to get going and getting out there and starting to go to some restaurants and doing things with her, you know, social events. And then this happened, and so here she is now. This is going to be. It's going to end up being like 1.5 years, 2 years of her in isolation. So for us to have the 6-7 weeks right now, big deal. Some people are, you know, I can't even imagine what my mom is feeling like at home and just not really being able to live beyond the walls of her home.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's you both brought up an interesting point. Do you think, and if so, how, being a cancer survivor has prepared for you for this, for lack of a better way to put it? I mean, like, do you feel like you're coping differently, better, worse? Has it brought up things like how have those two things kind of collided, so to speak?
I think for me, my anxiety has gotten worse, right? A little bit. And so, just it's depends on the time of the day and how I'm feeling. But I don't know. In terms of us being survivors, yeah, I mean, we've been through some deep stuff and some crap, right? And so, in a way, we're all warriors, and we've been able to just, to fight all of this. And so this is just another obstacle that, we have to deal with. And yeah, a lot of our friends, maybe they don't understand what we've been through. But maybe we have been prepared a bit more for, something unusual, a blip on the life map.
Yeah. Interesting. Kalina or Lahana, you guys have any thoughts?
I would say for me, I mean, I kind of felt like right away when this thing started to take over and, it was starting to talk about you have to start keeping your distance from people. I felt like when I was going through chemo treatment and I lived in Chicago at the time and I would take public transportation to go to work. And I remember sitting there and like having people, I just felt like everyone was so close to me, even if they were 2 seats over from me. Right. And I was like, you're too close, and it was just, I was paranoid of getting sick from people. And so I kind of started to feel like that right away. And so that was kind of, scary to deal with that and anxiety. I feel like some of that of going to like starting to limit my grocery store shopping to like every 3 weeks. And that's been helpful. And I mean, I never like scrubbed bananas before this whole scenario, but doing that also helped some of my anxiety of like, I hope this is helping. I don't know if this is, but I'm hoping it is. And also trying to just be really mindful of like, I'm trying to eat a nutritious diet. I'm trying to take my vitamins. And I'm also trying to be really mindful of like my cues of my body, which I wasn't as mindful of before, of being like, okay, I need to rest. Like I need to do this so that, and if I'm like, okay, I'm not feeling as great, like maybe I need to take some stuff or whatever, just so I can be as well as I can be. Just to try to stay as healthy as I can. I mean, I don't know what else.
You can only do what you can do. Yeah.
I feel like we're used to putting life on hold,
Yeah.
Like.
Interesting. Yeah.
It wasn't as big of a deal to be like, oh, okay, like life's going to change and be different for a little bit. Maybe it was a little of like the kind of PTSD kind of experiences.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? My life just drastically changed. It was like, oh yeah, I've done this. My life changed again. So it's just, I do think that it, prepared, made you stronger.
Yeah, interesting. We have about 10, 15 more minutes. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them over there. And if you're just joining us, this is the 8th episode of the Beyond Cancer series put on by Epic Experience. And we're talking with 3 survivors and Epic Experience alumni about their experiences with COVID and being cancer survivors. So I thought I had one other question that is not. Well, let me ask you this, and I don't know if you guys know this. What is the status where you are? I mean, is there an official word where you are? Does anybody know? I haven't asked that point blank, so I just figured I'd ask while we're and again, if you have any questions, go ahead and fill them in.
The status out here in Massachusetts is that I think we're nearing the peak. I think there's been a big surge in diagnosis and actually deaths. So it's, I think we're one of the leading states in all of that. And so we're not quite there yet. I think we're sort of getting there and starting on that downward turn. But again, there's that concern that if people go out too quickly, that there's going to be that surge, a second surge.
Right.
And so, yeah, everything's being canceled, all the sports seasons, school. It's just everything's been put on hold. And you know, really, the life out here seems to be those that have jobs, you know, you're working, and then others we're trying to find, as I said,
Right.
toilet paper, paper towels, and food.
It's true. It's true. Kalina, how about you?
We are honestly, like, we haven't had more than, I think our highest number of cases one day was like 170. We kind of hover around 140 new cases every day. So right now we moved from stay home, stay safe to a stay smart, stay safe. So they've kind of opened up some state parks. Our governor has really encouraged getting like takeout. He's suggested doing it 3 times a week, which I don't know who has the money for that.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of like stay smart, wear a mask when you go out, but don't feel like you have to stay at home all the time kind of thing.
Yeah. Lahana?
Here in Colorado, things are going to be opening up. I think the orders, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sunshine.
Like I told you, I'm not watching the news. It's too depressing.
That's why I had to stop. I couldn't do it anymore. The 26th, I think the stay-at-home order is kind of like relieved, but May 1st, things like doctor's offices, like dental studios can open. Dental offices and medical professionals can start taking people, and then hair salons and stuff like that are going to start opening, but have to hold some kind of precautions. It sounds like I've heard from some friends that are in those that they don't know what those precautions are though yet, so they're very hesitant to make those type of appointments.
Right.
Like the dentist, and I was talking to her today. She's like, I don't know, you know. So I mean, it's interesting. And then
interesting.
They don't fully know what to do with restaurants yet. It sounds like they want to open them up, but they're still encouraging takeout, and gyms and stuff are still closed.
Yeah.
But schools, it sounds like, are still closed in May.
I'm pretty sure schools are out for the rest of the year. I don't know about Utah, but I know they are. My family in California and here, and sounds like in Boston.
Utah sounds pretty similar to Colorado and our rules and stuff.
Yeah, our governor made it official the other day. It's over.
Yeah. One question that someone just asked that I thought was a great idea. We've been talking about food because, you know, we have time. Does anybody have a favorite recipe they've discovered, or a baking tip, or something like that they can share with?
Well, the person who asked the question, I have an inside joke, but pizza that doesn't break your teeth. So my nephew and I are making pizza.
Awesome.
But yeah, we've been making a lot of brownies.
Yeah.
And banana bread, the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
My cooking tip is Pinterest.
just go there.
I made a really good apple strudel the other night that was like healthy, but also very tasty and sweet.
Yum. I'm gonna have to like get all these recipes. Lahana.
I made homemade breakfast sausages, which I never thought you could make. I just always thought you could buy them frozen, and I just never thought about it. And you basically get some, you know, breakfast sausage, the meat, and then you can throw some like blueberries in it, which is delicious. Throws like sweetness in it. So that's really good. And you just make it into patties. I don't know why no one's told me this before, but it's great. And it costs the same as the frozen patties. So yeah, there's that.
What do you know?
The other thing I make is a barbecued turkey meat like taco. So you take ground turkey, and it's sort of sweet and a little spice to it, and it's really it's pretty fantastic. It's my mom's recipe.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Yeah, I made some gluten-free, dairy-free brownies that are amazing. I found the recipe a while ago, and they're dangerous.
Ooh, you should share that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, they are dangerous. That'd be great. One thing I thought of, do we have any questions, or else I'll ask this? Oh, somebody's asking, what was your best experience at camp? There it is right there. So how many of you went to winter? Who went to a winter camp? And then summer. Okay, so what was your favorite, if you can think of one thing without giving any secrets away. What was your favorite part about camp? Your best experience?
Before the live session started, they showed a little video about camp, and it reminded me of all the most amazing things. So I had two that stuck out to me. One of them was one night when we were just hanging out in the cabin. There was this awesome camper. Her name was Cookie because she liked to eat marijuana cookies. She was like 70. She taught me how to interpretive contact dance with her, and it was so embarrassing, but so much fun. That is probably my favorite memory from camp. But as far as activities that like everyone at a camp would have experienced, I really enjoyed cross-country skiing with everyone. It was fun to see people that had never been on skis get out on skis and to just play outside together on a nice, sunny, beautiful winter day.
Yep. Awesome. Striker?
So I guess I have the physical. I won't. If Mama Lou's watching, I won't say what really is my favorite thing. But so my there's the physical piece, and then there's just the I guess the emotional and just the living piece. The physical piece. I mean, you saw on the video, and Fatty, who was on that video, was one of my roommates. But we did a lot of that running down the hill, just getting out there in the middle of the mountains and just running and just being amongst the trees and the quietness and the nature. It was just amazing. And no matter how cold it was and how much snow kept coming down, it was just 7W is an amazing place, as we know. And then for me, I think here's the emotional side of me, just the family element of it, right? And it's not that I'm on this and I'm talking about Epic, I'm saying it just because of this, but really I think going through cancer, and you can talk to friends and family and they don't necessarily get it, but I was amongst people who had been there, and we could talk about the same thing in a certain way, and we know how we were feeling if we were in many ways chemo mental health, self-care, all of that. And so just, those moments in 7W, just sitting by the fire and, sometimes it was quiet and when it wasn't, the conversations were really special. So, those were the takeaways.
I agree. Yeah. Lahana, our summer camper.
Yeah. I would say, I kind of two also. The first, being on the river and just having fun, like just jumping in and just having fun with each other and just having a great time. And then the second one is definitely being able to sit on the deck of the main cabin and being able, especially at nighttime, and just to be able to be there in all of its beauty and the vastness of the mountains there, and to be able to sit there with individuals like with the fire and to be able to, experience like more stars than you could ever count, and to be able to just have conversations that last for hours. And you're with people that, you probably would never connect with if it wasn't for cancer, and you can build such meaningful relationships with them, and they're from totally different walks of life from you. They live in other parts of the country, and you have something that just bonds you so much, and you have such a beautiful experience, and you can just easily talk about your chemo brain or things in your life has changed so much. And some of the people that are closest with you don't get that, and this person you've only met 3 days ago has just become your best friend, and they totally get these things. And so that's just such a beautiful thing.
It's true. Definitely. Well, it looks like, are you guys still there? Oh, there you are. The picture changed. Well, we have just a few more minutes, and I'm wondering if any of you have final thoughts, something that you thought of from one of the other questions that you want to share, advice, tips that have worked for you related to this whole thing, or just cancer life in general, lessons learned. This is your chance to share it. And thank you guys so much. This has just been awesome. So anyway,
thanks.
So I don't forget.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I think I had a call not too long ago with some folks from the school system, and I don't know, they were curious to know how I was staying so positive through all this, and I said, well, how can you not? You have to, right? So, right, you can go through bad things, but you have to stay positive so you can move forward. And we know it, right? We've experienced it with cancer.
Oh, yeah.
This too shall pass.
Exactly.
It's just we don't know when.
Exactly. Yep. Excellent. Yeah. I actually have a ring that says that this too shall pass, so that it's a good reminder, whatever it is, whether it's something positive, something negative, something neutral, life, that's just kind of the way it goes. And that's a good reminder that it's not going to last forever. So yeah, anything from Kalina or Kelly? If not, no, I just kind of sprung this on you guys at the end.
I think that this has reminded me how important connections are.
Yeah.
Obviously, you stay connected in your own little circle, but if those listening, if you're not staying connected to people, like, it's important. I didn't know how much I needed this session. It's been so nice. Like, I think sometimes, at least I do, like, I kind of put my cancer kind of behind me because I don't really have that many people in my life that were there for me through it, besides like my family, like my parents. And so it's just, you need that connection with people that get it and understand. So, and like Stryker was saying, that it's but a short moment, even if this lasted like 9 months, that's so short. Women are pregnant for 9 months and then like life goes on, and, they forget all about it. And I think that will be the same for all of us, that someday this will have just been a blink of an eye in a moment of history.
Yeah. Yep. Lahana?
I would say, it's so true that in the worst of times, it shows the best of people. And I just hope that continues. I know for me, when I've gone on my walks, I've just seen like notes on the sidewalk of people saying like, keep your head up, this will be over soon, or, we love our healthcare workers, or whatever it might be. And these little things are just beautiful. And, little reminders every day that this will end one day, this too shall pass. And there are so many amazing acts of kindness going on right now. So I just hope that continues, of the things that we found are working in this situation, the goodness in this, those things, people take those with them, and that continues.
I agree. Well, thank you all so much for sharing. I appreciate you taking the time and giving people kind of a glimpse into how you've been dealing with this whole thing. And I can't say thank you enough. So thank you all who tuned in. Again, this was episode 8 of the Epic Experience Beyond Cancer series. And I believe we're going to try and do this next week. So stay tuned for the day and the time and the topics. Okay. Again, thank you guys for being vulnerable, for sharing. And I just appreciate it really much. A lot.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.